Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
They're in the computer?
This is getting out of hand.
Wow!
Strange things are afoot.
Holy potatoes!
Listen. You smell something?
Hello and welcome to the Clear History Podcast, the show where we scour the internet for some fun, interesting stories and share them among friends. You being one of them, listener. Hi, I'm your old pal Steve.
I am not your friend, but I'm Hot Hands Megan.
And with us today is my landlord, E-Troof, a.k.a. Eli.
E-Masta Troof.
E-Masta Troof.
I ain't playing.
We're going to start just right away here. Who's going first?
Me, I'm going to go first.
Alright.
I'm going to talk to you about a young man named Leslie Arnold.
That's how I like them.
William Leslie Arnold. Goes by Leslie because his dad had the same name. Leslie was a semi-normal 1950s kid with a short temper. He loved Elvis, playing music, and was in the ROTC at Central High School in Omaha, Nebraska.
Where's that?
That's where we are.
Mm.
He had a dad and a mom and a younger brother, and they lived on 66th and Poppleton near the Exarban horse track.
Okay.
That's by my house.
Wait.
I'm going to tell my story when he's done with this, but it's a very interesting. It's right by your house.
It's very near.
And technically my house, if I ever went there. Problem was his temper, and his mom was really hard on him, and she was a little crazy. Sometimes she'd kick him out of the house if he was being bad or after arguing, and he would have to go sleep with the horses.
You know, I've kicked my 5-year-old out of the house before.
Wait, aren't
So-
you supposed to sleep with the fishes?
This isn't fucking gangsta movies and New
Well,
York.
it's horse tracks.
Yeah, well, I mean, so
They had horses on 66th and Poppleton?
So you know where the Scott dormitories are? That was a huge racetrack in the Exarban Coliseum where they played hockey games and stuff like that and had concerts and everything.
Yeah.
It was right over there.
Well, there's a little piece of Omaha history for you.
There you go. I would assume a large chunk of our listeners are probably from Omaha. So
Hi, Mom.
All of them, I would say right now.
hey, we're on episode 8. I don't know. We might have gotten somebody from
Oh, it's Council Bluffs.
Council Bluffs or Carter Lake.
Hmm.
So she even kicked out her husband a few times as well.
Yeah, I
just
did
kinda
that.
Mean, whatever. And boys will be boys, but she was a bitch. She was like really hard on him, and she'd go back and forth and promise he'd be able to take the car, and then at the last second she'd say no, he can't, and she'd make him stay home after approving plans for no reason.
Dude, that sounds like my teenage
I know,
years.
it sounds like teenage years, I guess. But she didn't approve of Leslie's girlfriend and called her trash and wouldn't let him go see her for no reason. That's fine.
We
Open
drink
your beer.
here. It's fine.
I didn't know. Is this an openly drinking wet podcast? That's me flicking my beer can.
My ice is gone. Here, I'll just slurp it loudly.
Same.
Alright, but here's where we get into it. On September 27th, 1958, Leslie was looking forward to taking out his girlfriend to the drive-in movies, where there was a drive-in movie on 84th and Center. His mom gave him permission a few days before and said he could take the family Mercury, which in 1958 was actually kind of cool. And as he was talking to his girlfriend Crystal on the telephone.
That is a very progressive name for the 1950s.
His name's Leslie, too.
Well, it's his middle name. That's actually common for back then. But Crystal.
Crystal. And what, she went by Chris.
Is it Crystal with a K?
I think it was a Chrystal. Crystal. I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
Okay. Anyways.
I'm not a good speller, so I don't really...
We know.
She overheard Mrs. Arnold... When they were talking on the phone, she overheard Mrs. Arnold say that she's no good. So Leslie told his mother that she can't talk to his girlfriend that way, and if she continued, she'd be sorry. So when he got off the phone, his mom said that he wasn't going out anymore. Then he punched a hole in the wall, and they started arguing. And Mrs. Arnold told Leslie to go outside and cool down. I feel like this is like pretty
Typical.
Maybe the punch in the wall. I mean, that'll happen.
Boys do that when they're angry. They don't know how to control themselves.
And he's 16. He's all fired up. He's about to get. He's probably trying to get a kiss. This is the 50s. Everybody's
Smooch.
innocent.
Yeah.
So
Awful.
she's like, "Go outside and cool down," and he did. And he
Seems
apparently
reasonable.
came up with this idea. He snuck into his parents' bedroom and retrieved a .22 caliber rifle.
Caliber?
Caliber.
Was it caliber?
It was a caliber.
Caliber. Caliber. It's a 22 caliber.
You dumb bitch.
Caliber.
He went and got a gun from his dad's fucking closet, okay?
What caliber was it?
22. And then he went into the dining room and the kitchen are connected.
The same room because it's 1950.
They're connected and there's a doorway in between them. So it's not, so come on.
Frig off.
And she's standing in the doorway between them and he pointed it at her and Mrs. Arnold said, "What are you going to do? Shoot me?" Leslie shot her 6 times in the chest.
Did he say yes before?
He shot her 6 times?
What are you going to do? Shoot me?
Oh my god.
That was 7. But yeah. But anyways, upon realizing that she was dying, he told her that he was sorry. So that was nice of him. Dad came home, hands full of groceries, probably whistling. And realizing what happened, he ran at his son, trying to hit him, and he missed. And before he could try to hit him again, Leslie shot him 6 times.
Exactly 6?
That's what it says.
Oh my.
So, in about 13 minutes after that, he came up with a lie, saying that, and got a family friend to look after his younger brother. He was at the racetracks or something. I think like a rodeo or something, and he came back home, and so he told the family friend that his parents had to leave town suddenly because their grandfather was on his way into Omaha and he's senile and he got off on the wrong stop and they had to go find him in Wyoming.
What? That's really far.
That's elaborate, but not bad.
That's a good 50s
Possible.
trick.
We don't got no map quests.
And so he went to the movies.
That's
with his,
even outdated.
So he got the neighbor, family friend, to look after his younger brother, and while he went to the movies with his girlfriend, because that's what he fucking wanted to do.
Wow.
And they had a great time. The next day,
Did he get a kiss?
he probably got a little hand jibber.
Did they do hand jibbers?
Yeah, but it was with 2 hands, and it was a sturdy 90-degree angle.
She got that kung fu grip.
He said, I'm not gonna pump more than 7 times, but you'll like it. Anyways, the next day he actually went to church, and he left early because they were.
His parents were fucking dead?
They were talking about crime, and he felt bad, so he left early. And then he actually went to school the whole next week. And
Holy shit.
kind of just like lived it out, you know. They talk about how he disposed of the body after the next day after church. I think he used a belt and he put it around his dad's ankles and dragged him out to the backyard. He borrowed a shovel from the neighbor. I can't talk tonight.
And they just can't say
Caliber
word.
and neighbor.
He borrowed a shovel from his neighbor and dug the holes or a big hole and put them both in there through the rug in the Big Papio Creek. And so then people were getting suspicious. Like, he had all these, where's his parents? He's got these blisters on his hands from digging the holes. And after a while, they figured it out. And I'm going to cut some details, but he went to jail. When he was in prison, he was a model prisoner, and he probably would have gotten out early on parole after 10 years because he was doing everything exactly how he should, being a good boy, and that was kind of the law at the time. But apparently, that wasn't early enough for him. So since he was in good behavior, he was staying in a low-risk dormitory. And while there, him and Jim Harding, a guy who was in there for shooting somebody during an armed robbery, they planned an escape for July 14th, 1967. So it would have been...
5 years after my mother was born.
Okay.
2 years until 1969.
6 years.
Yeah. And
The
in 1969,
number.
he probably could have been out, you know?
Oh.
So, the number! So, while they were in there, they set it up with a guy that was... In May, he was going to go out... He was going to go on parole, so he was going to be a free man. So they had a man on the outside to help them escape. So this guy... They don't name him, but he threw over a cardboard tube over the fence, drove by. And in that was a couple hacksaw blades, and not hacksaw, but hacksaw blades, and 2 rubber masks. So.
Oh, kinky. Are they gonna fuck first?
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
One day they
Prime
skipped.
time for eating ass.
Prime time. So one day they skipped dinner and they went to the music room and sawed out the bars on the window, and then they placed them back into place with chewing gum, an old trick. And then they made up their beds that night with a bunch of extra blankets and pillows to look occupied and use the masks, kind of like Escape from Alcatraz style. If you've ever seen that movie, dope movie, you should watch it.
Yeah.
Basically, like, it was only like a 12-foot fence and then like 1 strip of barbed wire. So they just like threw a jacket over it and they just fucking hopped the goddamn fence. Like, sure, it's a little bit hard, but like, they could have easily gotten caught, but the guards weren't looking at the time. It was lit, but if they just go...
Oh, it was lit?
But they jumped over, escaped. They went into a wooded area nearby, across the tracks. This is in Lincoln, by the way, at the state pen.
Nebraska?
Nebraska. And the guy picked him up, and they went to Council Bluffs to go find a train, and then they realized that it wasn't for another 6 hours. They decided to go to the Greyhound bus station. I'm assuming the one on 16th and Jackson.
That's
Omaha
where I'm from.
people. Eli's from that bus station. Or Jackson?
Nebraska.
Okay. Anyways, and they took a Greyhound bus to Chicago.
You never take a Greyhound bus. We learned that.
It was fine. Actually, their friend Jim Childs was studying to be a priest. He was the one that helped him and gave him $40 each.
Jim Children.
And Harding was later caught in L.A., but Leslie Arnold is still at large. He's the last person to escape the Nebraska State Penitentiary.
He's at large?
At large.
Oh my gosh.
He could
I
be
wasn't
right
expecting-
behind you right now.
No,
You know,
With the 22 caliber, what did I say?
Caliber.
Caliber.
The only thing behind me right now is Chewbacca.
Wow.
Literally.
So tell them what happened earlier this week.
Wait. I just wanted... Can I say something? Can I just say this?
It's a podcast. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
It's all
Okay.
about saying something.
I did hear that story before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I've never heard it. So this, as a Nebraskan, this is new to me.
Yeah. There's a deal you can have that collaborates with your Google Maps or whatever.
Oh, and tells you where all the murder houses
Where
are?
all the unsolved murders are around the U.S. So I kept like trying to figure out.
Oh no, this one was solved. He gave himself
Right.
up. He's like, right there. That's where I buried my parents. I feel bad.
Well, I was sitting up like, looking up direct best way to get to Okoboji, and like it takes me up to Okoboji, and I zoom in, and like, there's a couple murders in Okoboji.
Because there's a lot of water, Eli.
Well, it's clear water. It's dumb to throw it in there.
Hey,
Unless you throw it into
Waiting.
East Lake.
The
East
best-
Lake is trash.
the best way
Not really. It's great.
to hide something is in clear sight. So the other day, when I was researching this, we ran back to my house.
We drop Eric, who is Eli's dog,
Eric
off.
Crouch Stolpe.
Yes, out at his house, and Steve is driving to my house, which is on the opposite side of town. he's driving by and we're going a different way, but I'm not really paying attention because I'm on my phone like a jackass. And he's slowing down and he's like, "Hey, babe, is this 66th and Poppleton?" And I said, "Yeah, looks like it." And then he turns the corner, like slows to a stop in his truck and goes, "Yeah, you see that house?
See that White House there?
Yeah?"
A 16-year-old boy killed his parents there.
Did you really?
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
just...
yeah.
And she's like, what? And then I turned around the corner, and then I pointed in the backyard by the tree where he buried his parents. I was like, that's where he buried them.
I want to go there.
That's where he buried them. I said, "What?" And he said, "I can't talk about it. It's for the podcast." And he just kept driving.
Fuck.
After traumatizing me, it's time for a commercial break.
Alright, Eli, what did you bring this week?
I brought something from my home area, Northeast Nebraska.
Jesus, 2 Nebraska stories.
Yeah, but this is Northeast Nebraska. This isn't the trash South.
Oh my god.
Alright? I ain't playing... I moved here not on purpose, but I enjoy it. Omaha's great, I'm just kidding. But this is from Homer, Nebraska. The story is called Lottie's Grave. It's about paranormal activity, murder, and then we'll find out the truth.
After?
Yeah, no, it's definitely about.
I
There's
love
some sex.
fucking necrophilia, man.
No,
Sex there.
it's pre-death sex, so just regular sex.
Whoops.
But there,
Lame.
it's not. I'm not gonna go
Let's
into
get
detail.
into it. Let's get into it.
All right, so it's Lottie's grave. Lottie was a lady who lived in Dakota County for almost all of her life.
So up in the northeastern portion of Nebraska.
Right. And so it takes place in Homer. Lottie was married, but she fell in love with another man.
Uh-oh.
Been there, done that. No, just kidding.
Sin. Her husband eventually discovered the secret. He took her to the bluffs just outside of Homer. Homer is just a few miles away from the Missouri River, so all along the Missouri River, there's bluffs. So and they're pretty big too. And he threw her off into the river below.
Hell yeah, fuck her.
He threw Lottie off?
Yeah.
For a reason?
For cheating on him?
Like I said, we'll find out at the end what happens. Or what really happened. Took it to bluffs, threw her off. Her violent death after her burial, her violent death led to like a soul with unfinished business.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Ooh, prime conditions for what we call a spookerino.
Spookerino.
A spookerino, baby. So, you know, when somebody doesn't have unfinished business, they stick around and they kind of...
they can't pass to the next world.
Yeah, weird...
It's just like you gotta take a shit. You can't go anywhere until you take your shit.
Yeah, weird shit happens.
Weird shit.
So, people would report a lot of different kinds of paranormal sightings and activities around her grave and around Homer. And, like, some of them were like, you'd see a horse carriage passing past her grave. She died in 55. So
There ain't no horse carriages.
And she died when
They're in the bluffs.
Yes, they is. Yeah, they is. not
Spooky
now.
ones?
Yeah, spooky ones. But this, like I said, this was in...
50-something?
No, she was born in the late 1800s.
Oh, so this was
So
early
definitely-
19th.
Yes. No, late 19th.
Century.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Early
1900s.
1900s.
It so throws me off.
Fuck your imperial system.
Early 1800s, but or late 1800s. But they'd see like I said, horse carriages. They'd see later on in the decades, you'd see bright headlights, and then
upgrading. The ghosts are keeping with the times.
On the roads, gravel roads and such, like you'd see headlights really bright, and some people said they'd see like blue, red, or yellow ones, and then you'd see them disappear, and a car wouldn't pass you.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was crazy. That
Man
sounds
Black.
fucking crazy.
Men in Black. I don't know.
Also, if you would, some people report like when they go to her grave, they hear a woman crying.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
You don't even know.
I got thrown
And here's
in the river.
so she had her 11-year-old daughter died of pneumonia, who was buried next to her.
That's pretty common.
She's married. She's buried between her husband, her second husband, and her daughter.
Yeah.
Which makes we'll come back to it. But
many come back to it.
But if you call on her while you're at her grave, she'll appear in the tree.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Lotties, suck my dick, Lotties, suck my dick, Lotties.
Need blowy. But you call on her and she appears in the tree looking for her daughter, like as an apparition. Yeah. So
creepy as it's.
And like one of the this is like the whole Lottie's grave myth. This is why everybody goes to it and does all their things. Mm-hmm. Is one of the most famous story. The famous story. It was rumored she was buried with a fortune of jewels, silver and gold. So these 3 high school boys.
Wait a second. Silver and gold. The only thing we have in Nebraska is crimson and cream.
That's right,
Scarlet and
baby.
green.
I ain't playing those games. Cheers. Go Big Red. But they successfully dug up her grave, and when they got down to the body, she appeared and said, "All of you are going to die within a year."
Ooh.
Oh shit.
And it's confirmed that
they all died within a year. Fact.
They did. 2 of them died in a car crash, and apparently they don't know what happened to the 3rd guy. Whatever.
He fucked up.
Died.
But either way, it's kind of like the Lady in White stuff, you know.
Lady in White.
That's Lady in Red.
Yeah, 2 of them died. They died outside Homer too, like outside city limits.
Okay.
So that's just like I remember growing up and everybody like, oh, let's go to Lottie's grave, let's go to Lottie's grave, and I'm like, you can go fuck yourself. I'm not gonna go visit
No, like
a
when
ghost
I was a
grave.
kid, it was let's go to Ball's Cemetery.
Yeah, and then the guy shoots the gun.
That's scary.
Yeah, that's scary, and the fucking ghost coming after you.
Oh, dude, it was scary. It was cold. It was dark, and I saw a couple of spookerinos, but they were just orbs, which is just light reflecting off of pollen. So it's not really scary.
If you believe in that.
If I believe in pollen.
So,
Ball and Sack Museum. Look it up, guys.
so people go, they deface her grave and stuff.
Museum. Cemetery.
Okay.
They deface her grave. They
Why?
graffiti it.
Why graffiti?
Because
Assholes.
teenager assholes, you know. The families were pleading that people quit
that's
quit
fucked
passing
up,
the
man.
stories around because one,
It's all bullshit.
it's all bullshit. None of it's fucking true.
Oh
And
my
2, it's just like
goodness.
fucking with your
Crack the
family.
case.
Actually, she was, to her family, a very nice lady.
Sure.
She was very eccentric and kind of an oddball. Like, if a kid would wander into her yard, she'd fucking chase him off.
Yeah.
And that's probably how rumors started to get started or whatever.
Oh, so she was like the evil the old hag of the neighborhood?
Kind of,
Well,
but
she
not
cheated
really.
on her husband.
Well, hold on.
But sometimes it's
Hold on.
warranted, so whatever.
No, I don't, maybe, I mean, it did say she's buried next to her second husband, so maybe she did cheat on her first husband. But she was not murdered. She died at 77, I think.
What?
What?
In Norfolk of degenerative heart disease.
What the hell?
She just basically technically died of old age.
She just died of old
pretty
age.
much.
Guys, I want to be a ghost when I die.
Right? Guys, seriously, just
Wait, but she
start
was
some
still
rumors, huh?
she was still able to be a ghost?
People are. I think it's just all bullshit. Her granddaughter said she was not buried with jewelry except her wedding ring. She never even owned a diamond. So like people grave robbing her, there'd be no reason to, and if they did, they didn't find shit.
So who started these rumors?
Who knows? There's like no reason that anybody did.
Social experiment. Let's start a rumor.
So when you were a kid, this was like a real thing. This was like the
scared
lore.
the shit out of me.
This was normal, yeah. That's
Because like some
interesting.
of the things, like one of the stories I remember hearing is like one of the guys that grave robbed,
yeah.
he heard like scratching on his roof before he died. Like, because the cops came and saw him and he's like, I heard it was Lottie. And like heard her nails scratching on the roof and shit.
But he was talking about the Snoop Dogg song, La Di Da
I
Di
mean,
Da
we
Da.
likes to party.
Yeah.
We just don't want to bother nobody.
We-
But you did. You
La Di Da Di.
Oh,
We
I don't
likes
like-
to
the
party.
name Lottie
We don't
is
cause
crazy.
trouble. We don't bother nobody.
But also, from what I researched, I couldn't find anything about like anybody actually grave robbing her, but I couldn't find anything denying it either.
Sure.
So, suck it. But really, she died. An old lady, like her family straight up said, just like, no, she had a super boring life. So
Oh, that's kind of depressing.
no, like I mean, like I think they meant normal, but they're just trying to play it down.
Sure.
But yeah, but she is buried next to her second husband, or in between her second husband and her 11-year-old daughter.
That's my dream.
Makes sense.
No, I don't want my kid to die at 11.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, she died of pneumonia. You know how that stuff is. So I looked at her gravestone. She was born.
You were there.
She died in 1955. She was born in 1878.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's
Someone started
she lived
this
a good
whole
life, a normal
story
a
about
good
her.
time life.
yeah, especially in 55. She lived
That
till
was
77.
really
That's
disappointing.
pretty good.
Oh, it's really anticlimactic. Is that how your wife feels?
And you know what?
Every time.
I'll tell you something about Eli. All his jokes are anticlimactic too.
Yeah, and I enjoy.
Climatic or climactic? Did I say climactic?
Climatic.
Well, it's like when you
Climatic.
shoot 22 caliber bullet.
Roll it in the brosker. Speaking of that,
you know it
let's-
is fun listening to a commercial.
But seriously, like telling these stories, like the stories and stuff, like even telling it, like still gave me chills. Like it was a story that really did freak me out.
Yeah.
It was like, am I gonna drive down the highway? Because I used to, hang out with people in Homer. Because it was really only like 20 miles from my house.
Yeah.
And in north and east Nebraska, that's a 5-minute drive.
It's
about a country mile.
It's about country mile.
That's what
there.
we call about a 2 or 3 beer drive.
Yeah.
Sit back, take your pants off. We're going for a ride, Dr. Jones.
Oh, Jesus.
It's,
Hold on to your potatoes.
It's 2014.
Gross.
You're happily married.
That's when I got married.
Right.
Happily.
With 2 children.
No?
Shh. And you guys are about to purchase a new home. It's a 6-bedroom, whatever, over $1 million home. You're rich, which you're not, but whatever. In Westfield, New Jersey. Okay, you purchased the house from the previous family, the Woods family, and are about to move in when you receive a mysterious letter, an anonymous letter at the new house from someone you don't know.
Why are you here? I will find you. The house has been the subject of my family for decades. I've been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s and my father watched it in the 60s. It's my time now. Who am I? I'm the Watcher. and I've been in control of 657 Boulevard for the better part of 2 decades now. The Woods family has turned it over to you. It was their time to move on, and kindly they sold it when I asked them to. You've changed it and made it so fucking fancy. Stop changing it. It cries for the past and what used to be in the time when I roamed the halls. And now I watch and wait for the day when the young blood will be mine again.
This is a handwritten note delivered to your home, postage stamped.
I don't like that.
So, that's pretty fucking scary. So these people decide, this is like, I think 5 days after they closed on their home.
Jesus.
They decided, they had 2 young children, this couple, and they decided, maybe we shouldn't, move in right away.
Yeah, no kidding.
So they waited a little bit, and it was followed up by another letter.
No.
Asking for the names of the young bloods.
Do you need to fill the house with the young blood I requested? Once I know their names, I will call to them and draw them to me. Have they found what is in the walls yet? In time they will. I asked the previous owners to bring me young blood.
They did not move into this house
I want
yet.
to see the handwriting.
Okay,
I feel like that's
right.
a big
but
part
they
of the
didn't.
story.
They didn't move into the house yet, and so then they received shortly after a third letter that will creep your dick out.
I am pleased to know your names now, and the names of the young blood you brought to me.
Blood?
Who has the bedrooms facing the street? I will know as soon as you move in. It will help me to know who is in which bedroom, then I can plan better.
All right.
Oh.
What? What a fuck. Like, this guy sucks. Like, one, yeah, you're creepy, but it's not cool to be creepy, dude.
Okay, so these people were so freaked. I'm just gonna give you a little rundown. These people were so freaked out to move in, right? I would be too.
Straight up.
Straight up. I'm afraid of spooky ghosts.
Spirit
Whatever.
ghost? Twin cheek birds?
Ghosts. I'm afraid of them. Doesn't matter. But, what do you guys think it is? I just want to know what your opinions are.
I think it's a fucking asshole.
What do you think, Eli?
I think it's just some privileged white kid being a butt munch.
So I think the story when I heard it was super creepy.
Yeah.
It's a creepypasta.
I don't like it.
Is it real?
No, it is real. These are stories that were published in major, Washington Post, major news stories.
No.
Yes. And those.
Yeah.
So what I just want to make the listeners aware of, if you decide to search this more, these were snippets that were taken from court documents, and I kind of pieced them together based on when they said they were in each letter. There were ... dots, which means there was stuff in between them that they didn't release. So that I kind of put them together in a way that kind of made sense for you guys. But let's talk about this house for a little bit. It was built in 1905.
Sure.
So it's old.
Same as my last house I lived in.
He speaks about
2 houses ago.
He speaks about his grandfather watched the house in the 1920s, his father in the 1960s, and then him current time for
like
2 decades.
heirloom
2
house.
decades.
What
Yeah.
did he do?
So let me just dive into this a little bit of one theory.
When you say watch over the house, is that his dad and his grandfather were also writing these letters?
Wait,
I
guys,
don't know.
I think this proves Jesus had kids.
Oh my god.
Alright, so he or she, I guess I can't whatever. But
Hashtag feminism.
Hashtag feminism. So, one theory is it's real. 3 times this house was sold for $1, I believe, which is kind of crazy.
That's a good deal.
Considering the people who bought it in 2014 bought it for $1.3 million.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's a huge profit.
So it's kind of weird.
Hell yeah.
I didn't go and look at the ancestry to see if it was cause sometimes you sell a house within...
Or like a car or stuff like that.
to
For
help
a
someone out.
penny.
But it didn't seem like
Because you have to have some sort of money, so you just say $1. Yeah.
Well, no, it's so you can pass it on to someone without,
Yeah.
whatever. So, anyways, it's kind of creepy. But nothing major happened at the house in terms of like murders or anything like that. But okay, so the one theory is that this really happened, that someone is being a creepy stalker. So they did receive a fourth letter pretty recently.
Oh, shit. Where is it?
And they said it was more derogatory and sinister and had direct threats more than the previous letters. So that's happened.
Yeah, Eli's like, oh, there's another letter? Where's the copy so I can read it?
Yeah.
They don't have it. They haven't released that. They have not released the letter, which is kind of like scary.
It's ass eating season, and I'm coming here to eat your ass.
What?
About September?
In about September.
So they haven't released the letter, but I looked at. Let me just throw some shade on this whole story. Someone else kind of threw out was that maybe this was not a spookerino story. Maybe this was not a stalker. Maybe it was the family that bought it. We're trying to do a real estate scam.
The old real estate
or something like that. Because basically what's happened out of this is that the couple that bought the house has since sued the previous owners. Do you remember the one line where you said the previous owner? I asked the previous owners for young blood. They said that they had previous knowledge of the stalker, and they sued and said you had previous knowledge of this creepy stalker. They countersued for defamation, whatever. The lawsuit was eventually dropped, but the Woods, who were the previous owners, did admit to receiving a letter. Although they said it was destroyed, and they did claim that it was not threatening. Which is interesting. They also, then the couple, since they couldn't sell the house, tried to get the city to allow them to destroy the house and build 2 houses on the lot. They listed the house for sale for almost like $250,000 more than what they bought it for.
Damn.
But then they dropped the price and they couldn't sell it, so they tried to hey, we're going to destroy the house and build 2 small lots and build 2 small houses and sell them. The city said no. They sued the city. That lawsuit was also dropped.
Fuck.
So these people have this house still. And they did rent it out. From what I did read, the current renter said that when he was confronted about the story, he said it has nothing to do with him. Nothing's come of it. They haven't received any letters. Last letter was not. I believe it was in 2017. I'm probably wrong. But yeah, it was more derogatory and sinister. But they never moved into the home.
They just ran it out. I don't know. I wouldn't imagine. Sure, maybe they did make it up, but why would you buy a house to never move into?
Yeah, some people said it was a real estate scheme. Some people think it was a hoax or somebody trolling. Or the other alternative is it's a real fucking person who sent this letter. Yeah. Let me just throw some other information out there. The FBI did test the letters that were sent, that they were given by the owners of the home.
Handwriting and all that?
Yeah, they said it was probably done by an older person, which kind of confirms the whole, I've been watching this house for over 2 decades.
Right.
But they did say that the only DNA they found on the letter was from a woman.
I was thinking dude the whole time, and I read it as a dude because I am a dude.
Who's the woman?
Right, but they also said that it may not have been a woman who wrote it, but they can't guarantee that the writer was also a woman.
Was it a woman handwriting?
They can't tell gender based on handwriting. No, they cannot tell gender based on handwriting.
Women have more curvy and men have more straight.
I am not more curvy than a man.
In your handwriting, you are.
Who wrote this one?
No, I'm not. I write like a psychopath.
Man.
That's a man's writing right there. He's looking up John's handwriting.
That's just good handwriting. So you're just saying because somebody has good handwriting, they're a girl.
Yep. Sexism.
Yeah, sexism.
It's real.
So my point is,
in handwriting.
But they don't the DNA could have been from. They don't know who it's from. It could have been from literally anybody. Someone at the post office, whatever. So they can't guarantee, but they do say it's from an older person. That's all we know.
Oh, do they know this?
I want to do that shit when I get older. It's just like people
Fuck
around the
up
neighborhood
people.
or just like different places around the U.S. find out when they're selling houses. Be like, hey, I fucking fucked people in your house. You better fucking stop fucking doing shit
You
in
better
there.
not.
Have you seen what's in the walls? You will soon.
Yeah, it's ass eating season.
Jesus. Alright, speaking of ass season hazing, let's do a quick break. Alright, let's do my 5 fast facts. 1. You can buy a barbecue-style smoked watermelon at Duck's Eatery in New York City. Very interesting. Does not sound... I don't know. A barbecue watermelon. 2. Studies show that mosquitoes are twice as likely to land on people with O-type blood.
Fuck.
I'm an O-type.
Same.
Yep. Before appearing in Star Wars Episode 4, Mark Hamill had never seen a Star Wars film.
No shit, Sherlock.
The only difference between Coors Light and Keystone Light is that Coors is shipped refrigerated. It's supposed to be the same
Formula?
thing, yeah.
Interesting.
And number 5, hot dogs were invented in 1936 by Larry Hot Dogs when he accidentally dropped a bag of prize-winning pig buttholes into his dick shaper machine.
You're some full shit.
That last one might
Not be true.
be less than true.
I think it's anti-true.
Oh my god.
That was fantastic.
Megan, what do you got for additional
Okay.
search terms today?
First search term is a video, but you can also just put it into Google. It's Shy We Die We Do.
Shy widow.
Right, it's SCHEI-WI-DEI-WI-DU.
And then there's an amazing video on
You will
YouTube.com.
not fucking regret it, I promise. And the next search term is Rose Blumpkin. The final search
girl.
term is ass eating season.
Ass season, what time of year is that? Find out
It's usually
today.
a late autumn, early winter. But look it up.
That's when it gets slippery and you just eat ass all the time on that ice.
It's just, okay, well, thanks everybody for listening, and we hope you check us out at Clear Your History Podcast on Instagram and on our website. And also check out Eli and his podcast.
It's called Not Your Real Dads. We just talk about dad shit sometimes. Not all. It's mostly just us fucking around, but
Just
we talk
talking
about dad
about-
shit sometimes.
Yeah, it's just moaning noises while they fuck around.
Oh my god.
I'm having one.
Thanks for listening, and bye.
Wear your seatbelts.
Wear your seatbelts, right?
Or don't.